We were lucky to capture Angela Johnson receiving the Fashion Humanitarian Award, and we have her acceptance speech here for you to listen to.
Thank you so much to the Garment League, Tracy, Art Link, and the City of Phoenix for this humbling honor and for organizing such an important event like this one. Celebrating and scaffolding our local arts and fashion industry is so important. And I know I'm speaking to the choir. You guys are all sitting here for a reason. But I'd like to take this opportunity to explain to you why I think it's so important. We're all seeing a huge disruption in a lot of industries, from farm to table, technology. All of that is stuff that's happening right now, right? Everybody knows how important that is to try to get rid of like the mass production and bring it back home. With millennials leading the way, consumers now want responsibly, sustainably made products. So the days of manufacturing hundreds of thousands of the same disposable garment overseas by questionable factories is dying. Consumers want pieces with a heart and with a story. They want uniqueness, and they want to connect with the artist who's creating their clothing. You can see this disruption in the news as we watch all the big retailers close down their doors almost every single day. The emerging designer making a limited quantity of unique goods domestically, responsibly, and sustainably is the new black in fashion. However, the old model of overseas manufacturing in bulk is still the only way, the only option for apparel manufacturing. So emerging designers are challenged with how to produce smaller quantities locally. Where can you find wholesale fabrics and trims as a designer? Where can you find pattern makers, pattern graders, production cutters, production sewers who are willing to make small quantities and don't require minimums of thousands of pieces? All of these things are really hard to find for an emerging brand, and they're necessities. How can they find the resources they need to fill the orders for the beautiful items we're going to see tonight, or that we see nearly every week now on Arizona runways? And what about all of the emerging designers all over the nation that face the same problem? If that brand isn't located in LA or New York, where all the factories kind of still remain, then they're just simply out of luck. So what's the solution? How do we lead the nation in Arizona here for disrupting an industry that's been doing it the same way for 150 years? For 17 years, I've been asking that question. And when I had to close down my own LA-based fashion brand, when I moved back to my beloved home city, due to the lack of resources, I closed down this brand. Back in the year 2001, I met Danita Sewell from the Phoenix Art Museum, and she put me and a bunch of other designers on the runway at the Bon Orchid down here in downtown Phoenix. After meeting other designers with the same issue, I was inspired to start Label Horde, which is a directory of all local fashion businesses in Arizona. Fast forward about a decade later, and we had a lot of brands and designers and fashion weeks and fashion programs and fashion organizations and celebrations of fashion in Arizona, but still no manufacturing resources. That's when I knew I really wanted to help solve this problem. Arizona needed more than just an online directory. In 2016, I partnered with an amazing woman named Sherry Berry, and we formed a nonprofit called Arizona Apparel Foundation, and we opened a fashion incubator called Fabric, the Fashion and Business Resource Innovation Center. We helped to provide the resources Arizona's been lacking, including industry education, manufacturing, design development, prototyping, fabric trim sourcing, technology, and more. It's been about a year and a half, and since we've opened it, we've helped over 200 brands start, develop products, and manufacture here in Arizona. 200 brands, more than 200. Those people would have had to leave our state to make their product, or simply shut down or not start at all. Many of these brands are on their fourth or fifth run of production. They've come to us 4 or 5 times, making hundreds and hundreds of pieces. So I'm proud of this, and I'm really wanting tonight to share this award with Sherry. Sherry, will you raise your hand?
Sherry.
I set this in motion over 17 years ago, but it wasn't until I partnered with Sherry that we were able to make a giant leap towards creating a physical resource like fabric. So today I'd like to thank the hundreds of volunteers who have dedicated thousands of hours to Arizona Apparel Foundation's mission. I'd like to thank my family for putting up with my persistence. And mostly I'd like to thank Sherry for partnering with me to help provide the things that Arizona needed. And now, we have a bigger issue, believe it or not. Those brands that are growing out of our facility, they need a higher capacity factory in Arizona. We don't want to now send successful brands outside of Arizona to places like LA or New York to spend their money to manufacture their clothing. So it's an important economic development issue for our state. And we need events like this and partnerships between Arizona cities, politicians, and philanthropists that want to join us in leading the nation to disrupt an industry. Look how far we have come with just the efforts of a few passionate community members like Tracy, like Sherry, like all the people who come to Fabric every day. Can you imagine if we had some serious financial support or city support? Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now and let you enjoy the work of the local designers. Thank you so much again for this exciting recognition, and I'm overwhelmed with gratitude, and I just can't thank you all enough. I really appreciate you giving me this chance.
I don't think anyone realizes, if you haven't been to Fabric, it is the epitome of collaboration and working together. And look at these powerful, strong women here in our community that are moving things along and making things happen. If you haven't been to Fabric in Tempe, it is truly a vision, and it's incredible how they're growing and creating so much growth within our own community. It's phenomenal. So thank you, Angela. Thank you, Tracy.